What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Prospect Spotlight, where you get a chance to learn more about NFL draft hopefuls. I'm Steph Sanchez, and today I am so excited to be joined by Senior Bowl standout and former Sacramento State offensive lineman Jackson Slater. Jackson, how you doing today, man?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Happy to have you on. I know it's a busy time for you, so anytime you could spare, definitely appreciative of it. But we're gonna interview you with a few questions here, but I like to start off my interviews with just a little rapid fire, get the juices flowing a little bit, get us comfortable here. So the first thing that comes to mind, just answer with that. I'm going to start off with this: PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox.
Favorite cheat day meal?
Panda Express.
All right. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl.
Do you have any game day rituals?
Not really. No, I'd say no.
Okay. And this last question here for the West Coast side of you: In-N-Out or Five Guys?
Five Guys. I'm an In-N-Out hater for sure. So.
Oh man, this interview's over, man. I'm kidding. All right, that was fun, but let's get into the good stuff now. So, Jackson, you played your entire career at Sacramento State, which is, kind of a rarity in this transfer portal era that we're in. So what made Sac State the right fit for you through the entirety of your 4-year career there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing was I was fortunate enough to have the same offensive line coach all 4 years. Just a great bond with him. And I think, I really did well with his coaching style. And, there's a lot of great things that come from the portal, but I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty too, and not really knowing what spot you're going to. If you get injured, how are they going to treat you? And I knew I had a good thing at Sac State. Loved playing for my O-line coach. And I think a piece of it for me too was, kind of finishing my career as a Hornet and doing all 4 years there. And, really, feeling good about how I left my college career.
Yeah, and I also imagine it's probably a little easier to stack your seasons when you're in the same environment, same offense, same coaches, as you kind of mentioned. So I'm sure you benefited from that as well. Was there a specific season at Sac State where you felt like the game started to slow down for you and it all started to click?
Yeah, probably my sophomore season. I played 9 games my true freshman season, but I think there were still times where I was second guessing myself for doing the wrong assignment sometimes. So I think kind of that second year of being a full-time starter really kind of slowed it down for me, and being in the offense for a year and kind of starting to understand stuff a lot better was, I think, really when it kind of started to slow down for me and I could play faster.
Well, that's when you went AP third team All-American was in 2022, and you finished your career there, first team AP All-American. So that's awesome. Definitely something clicked for you. I know that for a lot of guys, getting to that next step is really when they start to mature in their film study, and that's definitely part of it. So when it comes to game planning and film study for you, what are some things you look for in opponents?
Yeah, I mean, I usually start, week by week, kind of at first, kind of just getting a feel for the defense as a whole, like how hard do they play, who are some of the guys that catch my eye at first. So I kind of just go through and watch some games, and then kind of get into personnel later in the week, like who are the linebackers, who are the D linemen that I'm, likely going to face most of the time. And I usually just kind of look for tendencies and, how do they get off blocks? What do they do in their pass rushing? I think just little things like that will help you throughout a game. So
now, how about when you watch your tape? What's something that you're focused on and critiquing yourself on?
Yeah, I think footwork's the biggest thing. I'd say it was really the driver of our offense was, doing the right footwork and making sure everyone's on the same page. So usually footwork, am I taking too big of a step on this flipper, or am I oversetting on this pass set? We're a big vertical set offense. So hey, am I staying vertical? Am I staying, in tandem with whatever tackle I'm setting with? I think just kind of little stuff is usually what I would look for in my own film.
Well, I definitely see the strong base. You got the athleticism as well, and that was on full display at the Senior Bowl. As far as run schemes go, what type of scheme do you think fits your skill set the best?
Yeah, I think I can do both. At Sac State, it was, mainly a zone scheme. We throw, some powers and counters and pin and pulls in there as well. But I think I do really well getting out in space. So I think all those gap plays I do really well on. But also, I mean, I think I've had a lot of success with, the zone offense at Sac State. And I think it transferred over at the Senior Bowl pretty seamlessly as well. So I think I can play in both.
All right. I love asking offensive linemen this. Walk me through your mindset when you're on the move on a pulling block.
Yeah, the biggest thing I tell myself is just go fast. Especially when you're getting on those second level defenders. Usually it's when you slow down is when you get yourself in trouble. So even our offensive line coach said he'd rather just have us, go fast and throw at them rather than try and break down. And those guys are more athletic than us more often than not. So they're probably going to throw a move at us that we can't handle just based on our size. So usually it's just get on them quick, and that's I think kind of showed up more this past year and in my junior year too, where I was really just trying to go fast and get on guys, and I think it had me have more successful blocks. So.
You mentioned your offensive line coach a couple of times, Chris Richardson. I saw him that he was supporting you at the Senior Bowl. That was pretty cool. Tell me about how his coaching and just him in general has helped shape you as a player and as a man.
Yeah, I mean, really took me in. I was an out of state guy coming to Sac State, so I was originally from Washington, and they don't have a ton of out of state guys, at least in the past. I think, with this new staff, they're kind of moving towards more national recruiting. But at the time, it was mostly California guys. So, Thanksgiving we were usually playing football, so he'd have all the offensive linemen over, just really welcoming family overall. And then on the football side, I think I just really, gelled with his coaching style. I'd say he's a guy that keeps it simple and makes stuff easy to understand and pick up, which I really liked. As well as having high expectations for the whole room. I think that's why we had a lot of success as offensive lines in my time there. So.
Yeah, I mean there were a lot of guys who had like all Big Sky honors, in the time that he's been there. So definitely something he's doing right and something that's clicking. Now there's that saying that if you're good, they'll find you, right? So you got an invite at the Shrine Bowl, to the Senior Bowl. How did it feel to get both of those invites?
Really cool. I mean, just kind of like a monkey off my back type feeling. Was always the goal. Had all these accolades, and to get an invite to an all-star game from the FCS level was a huge deal to me. Was my goal. I'd say my whole career was to be, one of the small school guys that gets invited to one of those games and has a good week and helps himself with their draft stock. And I think I did that, and it was really cool to have that opportunity for sure.
Yeah, and I have an idea how that week went for you, as many others do as well. But from a personal perspective, like how did you feel that week went? Did you have specific goals that you met? Anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, going into it, I think at the end of the day, I just wanted to show teams that I was a hard worker and a reliable guy, regardless of how the performance was on the field. And I was like, hey, if I do good, then that's a plus. But it's not every guy has a good week there. So I was also prepared to have to deal with not being as successful as I thought I was going to be. And then I think going into it, just a lot of nerves, I feel like, for me, just not facing that level of competition before. All these guys are draft prospects and played at higher levels of football than me. So I was kind of just more worried about the speed of the game and like, how's it going to be versus, Big Sky football. And I think, everything I'd done up to that point had prepared me. And I think I was, well prepared. It was more so just getting comfortable with, who I am as a player, and that I'm capable of doing stuff. And so, I mean, like halfway into day one, I think was kind of when I started to be more comfortable and have more confidence in myself, and kind of feel that I belonged with that group. So yeah.
So in a way, like you didn't even know what to really expect going up against some of these guys, right? And I'm sure after, some reps, some one-on-ones and getting some wins, you're like, oh, okay, I got
Yeah.
this. Like so
Pretty much, yeah.
um from an iron sharpens iron standpoint, was there anyone that, you recall challenging you the most out there?
Yeah, I think Omar Norman Lott out of Tennessee. I think he had a good week, and I think I struggled with him the most. And Walter Nolan's another name that comes to mind, another highly touted prospect. That I think we had some good battles. So it was fun, kind of getting to go against some of these guys that first, second round grades, and kind of seeing how I stack up, for sure. So.
Yeah, that team I think had the toughest like interior defensive line of that week. So yeah, you were definitely going up against some tough competition out there. Now, one of the things that stood out was you were rocking the jersey, you showing the belly. Was that was that inspired by minors at all?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. It was also, when he was at the Senior Bowl, I think it was my senior year of high school. So it wasn't just something I did at the Senior Bowl just because I was at the Senior Bowl. I did it every practice of my college career too. Um, so I don't know, it's just kind of how I like to, practice, I guess, and a little more freeing than having a jersey on. So I kind of see where his mindset was, and when he did it, I kind of took it and ran with it too. So
I love it. It's a look, man. Like it's a
oh yeah.
look, especially for the offensive linemen, the big boys. So I'm sure you got a chance to talk with a lot of teams while you were out there. What sort of feedback are you getting from teams? Like, where do they like you? Where they, see you in their offense?
Yeah, I think center is kind of the long-term position, from what I've heard. I think kind of I have the, more prototypical center body and the athleticism to be successful there. I think the only negative would be, not having a ton of film at center. But, I mean, I think at the Senior Bowl, I also proved I think I could be a swing guard too. So I think I fit in any interior position. I think it kind of just depends on where teams see me at. But personally, I think my highest potential is at center, and I think I have a lot more room to grow there than at guard after playing so much guard at Sac State. I think I kind of have an idea of who I am as an offensive guard, but not necessarily what I might be as a center. So I mean, I think there's a lot of room for growth at both positions, but just kind of even how I personally feel at center, I think that's where I might be best at.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you played mostly at guard at Sac State, but you did have a couple games at tackle as well. I know you played some center back in high school, so like just the fact that maybe you've been able to work in so many spots on that offensive line, does that give you confidence that you'd be able to adapt to center quite easily?
Yeah, I mean, got a ton of practice reps at it this past season too. So I feel generally comfortable there, but still obviously haven't played enough of that position, I think, to really feel like that's where home is. But yeah, I mean, I think my versatility over the years has really, just helped me in my career. And I think just understanding offensive line play as a whole, being able to play multiple positions, I think it's really helpful.
Now I know the next step after the Senior Bowl, of course, is preparing for pro day. So walk me through what a typical day of training is like for you right now.
Yeah, right now I'm at Exos in Phoenix. So right now we're kind of on like a taper, like deload sort of phase, kind of helping us get our legs back before the combine. So right now it's more chill than it was, but usually it's a lift in the morning. Then we usually do offensive line stuff right after, and then a little later in the day, we do a run of some kind, whether it's, 40-yard prep or shuttle or whatever. And then, they got all my meals prepared for me here too, which is really cool and something, I wouldn't say Sac State super emphasized on was nutrition and diet, and we didn't really have the resources at that level, which makes sense. So that's a piece that I've been excited for, is kind of getting locked in with my diet, eating food that's good but also healthier for me than kind of what I'd had in the past. So it's been fun for sure.
No Panda Express right now, man.
No, yeah,
No.
haven't had that in a while. So
All right, you're locked in. And you mentioned the combine. Did you get an invite to the combine?
yeah, I was a part of the first round of
Awesome.
invites, so I've had it for a bit, and I'm excited for that. Just another opportunity to hopefully improve my draft stock and show teams I'm the player I am. So
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be huge.
yeah.
And you showed up at the Senior Bowl, 6'2", 320 pounds. Is that kind of the ideal weight that you see yourself at, or is there like a specific goal that you're looking at, or even with testing, is there something specific that you're going for?
Yeah, I think a little lighter with the testing stuff, hopefully add, a little, or subtract a little more time from, what I do there. But I felt good at 320 at the Senior Bowl, so I feel like that's kind of around my playing weight in the NFL, I would say. So we'll see, but the plan would be to be a little lighter for the combine and, hopefully do better on some of these testing stuff. So
Sweet. Yeah. And I know your father, John, he played D2 football at Western Washington.
yeah.
What advice or, just guidance has he had for you throughout your career and, maybe through this process now?
Yeah, I mean, I always, looked up to him a ton. Coached me through youth sports and football and baseball and stuff. But he just wants me to play hard at the end of the day. He tries to, coach me as much as he can, but at this point I know more football than him, so I don't take a lot of it, but he just wants me to play hard, have effort, just a lot of the general, parenting coaching you see maybe throughout youth sports and stuff. But I'm really thankful. I have a great support system with my parents, and they're not pressuring me to do anything. They kind of just want me to do what I love, and I think that's football. So they're really happy for me, and I'm really thankful that I have them. So
Yeah, I'm sure during this time that's like so busy, it's moving so fast. It's nice to have like a strong support system to keep you grounded through it all.
yeah,
Now, Jackson, this has been awesome. I have one last question. I end all my interviews with this question.
yeah.
What is a team? What is a fan base getting with Jackson Slater, both on and off the field?
Yeah, I think a versatile guy that plays hard, and I think you're a guy that you want in your offensive line room. I think I have the skill set to play multiple positions on the offensive line, which I think is something you really want in a lineman. And just a guy that gets the job done. I think I've done it at every level, and more often than not, I've been a guy that's been slept on or overlooked. Going back to high school. So I think I'm an underrated guy that's going to come in and get the job done and bring a unit together. And I think I have a lot to contribute to whatever organization I go to. So
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I don't think people are sleeping on you anymore, man. Like,
that's
I think
good.
the attention you're getting is well deserved. I think it's here to stay, and yeah, I'm happy for you that you got that combine invite because that's just gonna solidify it even more.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I think a team's gonna be very happy to have you on their team. So yeah, I wish you the best of luck, man, and gonna be rooting for you through these next couple months, and obviously beyond that, no matter what team you go to.
thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and again, I appreciate your time. I know it's a busy time. This is your relaxation time, so appreciate you taking this time to talk with me in 49 Cares podcast. But thanks to everyone that tuned in. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. There will be plenty more prospect spotlight interviews just like this one. But for now, have a good rest of your Tuesday, folks. Peace.